The final DLC for Remnant 2 is finally here, and after over 20 hours, I finally 100%ed the Dark Horizon expansion. I got all the achievements, defeated every boss, and did everything I possibly can do. So let's see if this is a fitting finale for one of the best games of 2023. The story takes place before the events of the Core Narud campaign. Here, players are forced to face Ellipsis Tora and see what happened to Narud when it crossed the event horizon for the first time, learning that the black hole is an actual god, something that just wants to know what you are and doesn't care about life, death, or even time. The thing just toys with you and sees the players as just another experiment. I really like this interpretation of a god in the world of Remnant 2. Unlike the other deities we've encountered, Ellipsis Tora acts like an elder god, who sees things such as time and life in a neutral way that we simply cannot comprehend. It's not good and it's not evil, it just exists, with no tethers or real care for reality or existence. Pushing this further is that it encourages you to weaken its physical form, and even when you win, it simply sees the fight as a learning experience and lets you leave with your life, as its true form is so utterly powerful by just simply looking at it would cause you to grow mad or even just die by just its sheer amount of power. Ultimately, this DLC is directed towards those looking for more lore about Narud, and the DLC does add a lot more information about the Drazir. Players can uncover information through the Custodian after it regains its memory by collecting lore documents during each run. You won't be able to get all the lore documents, but you'll be able to get more information about each of the main characters from the Core Narud campaign. It's a solid narrative that builds on the already established world of Narud and shows, just like how the other worlds, this one also has its own gods and rules, showing that Remnant 2 has a lot more layers to it than we may have expected. As with the previous DLCs, the developers added new weapons, armor, dungeons, and most importantly, a new traverse item in the way of the glider. Unlike the core versions of Narud, this version has plots of land separated by deadly seas of poison. The player must use a new glider, added with heat events, to travel through the various platforms. It also features a new landscape where flora exists, giving the player an idea of what the Drazir's world may have looked like before the calamity. Navigating the islands can be challenging at first, as the map only tracks areas of solid mass. This means that the player will need to rely on memory, power lines leading to Ellipsis Tora's physical form, and the sense of direction to find their way around. Like with the previous two DLCs, the two open areas in the Dark Horizon content are static, meaning that once players learn the route, they can travel through them quickly and easily if they decide to rerun through the level, which they'll have to do if they want to get all the content available. The DLC also includes a hidden difficulty option. You see, there are two power conduits that are directly linked to Ellipsis Tora's physical form. You can choose to interact with these power conduits by going through optional dungeons, which are telegraphed by where the power lines are pointed. There are two power conduits in total, and you can weaken Ellipsis Tora by 50% or 100%. In fact, the god encourages you to do so, but if you beat the boss without weakening its physical form, you'll be rewarded with an even more powerful item. Regardless, this also serves as narrative direction, as Ellipsis Tora talks to you directly during these sequences, giving you information about what it is, what it wants, how time is meaningless, and how you interest it because you're from another world. The developers also included new enemies such as a robotic spider-like creature which I believe aided in agriculture, and new drones. There are no non-zombie Drazir, they're all dead in this campaign as well, which is a bit of a shame. There's also plenty of new secrets, including the Warden archetype that focuses on a drone to shield, heal, or attack based on the player's settings on what they choose. It's an okay class, but is easily overshadowed by the Summoner or Handler class. As for the final boss of the DLC, I thought it was okay. It was a formidable adversary, and depending on the difficulty level you chose, it could be very hard or very easy, and it reminded me a lot of the final boss encountered in Astral Chain. It's made of pure energy, but takes on a physical form, but can also change its form in order to possess an advantage in battle. It was definitely something worthy of Narud's entire campaign. As for achievement and trophy hunters, be prepared for one of the most annoying and grindy achievements I have experienced in the game. Players will have to unlock a secret vendor known as Spark and then collect 3 unique alloys exclusive to each of the 3 core realms in Remnant 2. You must then obtain 3 items in each of the realms based on a loose description provided by Spark. This achievement alone took me around 20 hours to unlock because of just how horrible the drop rate for each of these alloys were. While the gun you unlock on this long quest chain is good, the items you get during the entire journey are just pure garbage. Like, everything I got, I had something superior. Granted, I played all the DLC prior to this and the core campaign, so if you were going through this normally as a first time player, maybe you might find something here worthwhile, but considering the amount of steps that you'll have to go through in order to get all this content and all this DLC gear, I don't see that happening, especially considering Spark is a hidden vendor in the final DLC, which likely players who go through this game chronologically will go through the Dark Horizon DLC last. So I would recommend you go through the Dark Horizon DLC actually first, then it will be a lot easier to grind for all these alloys because you'll just be playing the game normally. The Dark Horizon provides a familiar gameplay formula consistent with the previous 2 DLCs. While it doesn't deliver anything groundbreaking, it effectively expands upon Naruto, and the appeal of the DLC relies heavily on whether the player liked Naruto or hated it. The introduction of the glider in the Dark Horizon is a cool idea, but its use is simple. It doesn't provide the same level of complexity used in the discovery system Remnant 2 is largely known for. Players may find themselves grappling with the frustration due to the frequent reliance on the glider for navigation and the scarcity of fast travel points. Moreover, the Master Builder achievement requires a significant amount of grinding, which may put off players in 100% in the game. Instead of positioning the Dark Horizon as a conclusion to Remnant 2, it's more of an additional building block that enhances the already substantial structure of the game. While it's not necessary, it remains a welcome addition, offering more content for those who enjoyed the base game. Ultimately, the enjoyment of Dark Horizon will depend on the individual's preferences. Players who found Naruto to be a compelling setting will likely appreciate the additional content and challenges offered by the DLC. Those who were less enthusiastic about Naruto may find the DLC less appealing, similar to the other 2 DLCs where the big appeal came from your interest in Lonesome and Yisha.
Sorry, but I must join them.